he had never seen before. He rolled down the window and looked around. Some cars had their doors open with no one inside. A few people had gotten out and were filming something on their phones. Suddenly, they started running in panic, as if they had seen something terrifying. Through the glow of the streetlights, the man spotted a person walking with a strange posture, as if their spine was broken. As a forensic examiner, he knew this wasn't a normal living person. He immediately threw the car into reverse and backed away. Then came a dull thud. The driver in the car to his left was convulsing violently, and the window was about to shatter. The two cars were less than a meter apart. Once that glass broke, the man wouldn't have time to escape. He grabbed his bag and climbed out through the passenger door. The sound of smashing glass continued behind him. He didn't dare look back. Instead, he ran to a nearby street with fewer people. Through the rain, he saw the lights of a gas station. Without thinking, he ran toward it. There was broken glass and scattered footprints on the ground, none of them from the same person, and all of them heading outward. The shelves inside were neatly stocked. Everything looked normal. So why had everyone run out? He looked around. Glass walls surrounded him. The convenience store was brightly lit. He couldn't see outside clearly, but anyone outside could see him perfectly. He couldn't stay here long. He had to leave fast. Before going, he grabbed some food and drinks, moving quickly, and still made sure to leave some money behind. Suddenly, the lights went out. Through the darkness outside, he thought he saw a twisted human shape. Then the lights came back on. The figure was gone. He prayed he had imagined it, but the hairs on his arms were already standing up. With the roads jammed, he couldn't get home. He had to find shelter nearby. 50 meters ahead stood a low building. The rolling metal door wasn't completely shut, just enough for him to squeeze through. He didn't know who owned the place, but it was empty now. Without bright lights, it wouldn't draw attention. After locking the door behind him, the man finally felt a small sense of safety. Looking at the tools hanging on the wall, he realized he was in an auto repair shop, and someone had been there working on a car earlier that day. He sat down in a corner against the wall, placing his supplies and work bag beside him. His nerves finally relaxed a little. In the distance, he could faintly hear car alarms and the sound of breaking glass. He looked down at the wound on his hand from work that afternoon. The bandage was completely soaked through from the rain. He peeled it off. In the moonlight, he noticed the color of the wound was wrong, a strange grayish white. He pressed it hard. He couldn't feel anything. Maybe it was the adrenaline. He closed his eyes, not knowing what to do when the outside. Through the gap in the rolling metal door, he saw several zombies wandering around. When he looked the other way, about 400 meters away, there was a two-story building with a wall around it. Only a few zombies were on the road between him and it. The repair shop didn't have much drinking water left, and the energy bars in his bag were almost gone. Staying there gave him no real chance of survival. That building, on the other hand, had a solid wall, a second floor for scouting, and possibly plenty of supplies. With daylight giving him clear visibility, the man decided to sneak over to that building. The air after the rain smelled of asphalt and cement. The man used parked cars to hide his movements. The street was scattered with belongings, as if people had fled in a hurry. He didn't know if any of them were still alive. Up ahead, there were no more cars to hide behind. To his right front stood a zombie. He couldn't tell if it had noticed him. It wasn't moving, probably dormant. Summoning his courage, the man hugged the wall and ran past it. Then he saw it, a 2-meter-tall gray cement wall. That was the building's outer perimeter. It was a community building. The service entrance was usually around the back. He found it, and luckily, the door wasn't locked. He slipped inside. The air smelled of disinfectant. The counter was neatly arranged. The vending machine was full of food. He saw a swimming pool. The water was clear. There were 4 exits in total. The man locked all the unnecessary ones. The main entrance was made entirely of glass doors. While they let in good light, in an apocalypse that was a serious downside, they weren't strong enough to hold back a crowd of zombies. So the first floor couldn't be their defensive line. He went up to the second floor. There was a glass wall up there that gave him a clear view of the entire first floor, including all the exits. The lights were on in the second floor office. No one was there. He tried using the office phone, but there was no dial tone. The line was probably dead. The electric kettle next to it worked fine. Overall, this place was much better than the repair shop. He decided to make it his long-term shelter. Then he suddenly noticed that the service door he had come through was open. He must have forgotten to close it when he came in. The door frame was a bit warped, and it took some force to shut it properly. He then propped a chair from the locker room against the door, so if anyone opened it, he would hear it. Back in the second floor office, he treated his wound. As a forensic examiner, he had a habit of keeping a daily log. He wrote down the 4 exits and noted that there was electricity. Halfway through writing, he got uneasy and went to check the service door again. The chair was still in place, but when he reached the locker room door, he stopped. He hadn't closed that door after taking the chair out earlier. Now it was shut. He searched the entire building and found no one there, but the vending machines were full of food. 20 minutes later, he made a second round. He noticed that the locker room door had been closed. Maybe he had done it himself. He wasn't sure. He let it go and started checking every room on the second floor. He wasn't interested in the storage room. The second room was a fairly nice office with a fold-out bed inside. The window bars were sturdy, and the view was good. The city water system was still working. The next room had a coffee maker, a microwave, and a portable gas stove. The gas stove was very important. If the city lost power, that would be his only way to heat food. Next, he decided to break into the vending machines. All he had to do was unscrew the side panels, and he could take everything out. Snacks and drinks have long shelf lives, so he wasn't in a hurry to eat them. The second machine was refrigerated and contained sandwiches and salads. Those had short shelf lives and would spoil quickly if the power went out, so he would eat those first. He emptied all 4 vending machines and sorted everything by expiration date. He needed to move it all up to the second floor. Then came another important task, the 40 metal lockers in the locker room. Besides checking inside for anything useful, the lockers themselves could be used as a barrier to block the stairs leading up from the first floor. By himself, he started the heavy labor. He lost count of how many trips he made up and down. Halfway through, he changed the bandage on his wound and started moving the lockers. This made a lot of noise. The metal lockers scraped loudly against the concrete steps. He kept looking out the window. Luckily, no zombies were heading his way. He went to the water dispenser by the pool, took a sniff to make sure the water was drinkable, then found a bunch of empty bottles. That solved his short-term water problem. The rest of the food and drinks were neatly stacked in the nice office. The stairwell was just wide enough to fit a locker sideways. The lockers got slightly bent from being wedged in, which actually made the barrier even stronger. To get from the first floor to the second, someone would have to push through several hundred kilograms of metal. But he decided not to block the other staircase completely. He needed to leave himself an escape route, just in case. Next, he needed to cover all the glass. The glass couldn't stop intruders, but at least he could block the light from getting out. He covered the entire glass wall, leaving only 2 small gaps to observe through. From the second floor, he could see everything happening on the first floor. With both stairways blocked, he finally felt truly safe. He leisurely heated up a cup of coffee, and used the microwave to warm up some rice, fried chicken, and a salad. He hadn't had a hot meal in 2 days. Before that, all he ate were energy bars and crackers. By the time he was full, it was already evening. Looking through the blinds, he saw several zombies outside walking in the same direction. The closest one was less than 20 meters away, its skin gray, its neck twisted. Luckily, none of them turned right. If they had turned right, they would have come to the building's main entrance, which was all glass. He crouched by the observation gap and looked down. The first floor was empty, but the front entrance was wide open. They hadn't come in today, but that didn't mean they wouldn't tomorrow. He had to finish the refrigerated items within 3 days. If the power went out, the portable stove's fuel was limited.